Alright, so this is my level I made for my group's game. So I was designated to do level 2, and it was going to be an ice room, and one of the conditions is that it had to be low poly, so everything in here is relatively low poly. All I did was block out the entire level, and then imported it to Maya, and then remodeled everything. The textures I got online that I found, or I found a website on my own through an application called Creation Forge or something Forge. Right here is a puzzle. Simon says sequence. Lights light up, showing play with the sequence. I basically programmed and made myself, except for the mass bar. One of my team members is the creator of that, and also allowing the player to gain height, or I guess mass, as they absorb water at a certain location. She is the one who created that. One of the things that I helped out with was creating the different types of projectiles the player can shoot out, and then press Q. They shoot it out, and they lose mass as they do. Yeah, I made it. Oh my god, I can't believe I made that. Alright. So, for the game, I created 3 different projectiles: magma, slime, and ice. And for this level, the item I picked up was the ability to shoot out ice. So you can do that. And also create this tight space, so you have to use up some mass to be able to fit through. And here's the last one. So here's, okay, don't mind that's just been popping up because of a bad function within the pillar whenever the wrecking ball smashes into it, because I might as well just go ahead and show you. So for what I did right here, I put in a capsule so that around the destructible mesh, that way the player won't go up towards it and then accidentally destroy it before the sequence starts up. So I put in the capsule, and every time the wrecking ball hits the capsule and essentially wrecking the destructible mesh, it gives off several error messages, but it doesn't affect the game in any way whatsoever. So I just plain ignore it. And here's the sequence. So this is the add timeline for the button. So whenever the player overlaps the collision box, it goes through a time sequence where it would increasingly add the value or decrease the value of either X, Y, and Z axis. In this case, it would decrease the value of the Z axis, because when the button's idle and once the player hits collision box, the button is pressed, so the button will be, the Z axis on the button would decrease, and then it would just reset to a new location. And then once they get out of the collision box, it resets itself, it reverses, and then that goes over to here. So destroy. Oh yeah, so this is the destroyed capsule component. So once they hit the button, the capsule that I showed you that's around the destructible mesh is destroyed. So that once the wrecking ball collides with it, it destroys it, and it acts like what a regular destructible mesh would act like. It would get obliterated in several pieces. And this is the function for the wrecking ball. So over time, it it not exactly slowly rotates, but it does rotate. The arm of it does, and then it would smash into the destructible mesh, as well as let's see here. It's also delayed a bit for the. I made it so that the bridge of it, the pillar bridge, which would be the top piece right here, is delayed in turning and transforming into a new location of where it's supposed to be. So it would have like a smooth animation transition through there. What else? So this is the function for that, for it to change location. And this is the changing of its rotation as it's falling down. So that's the function of that. This here, so in the game trailer, there's no sound for this, but I added sound towards the end, but there wasn't enough time for us to get that into the video and compile it all together, because we had some issues with the compatibility with our levels. So there's no sound in the game trailer, but there is sound in this one, so at least there's that, somewhat. So that's the pillar bridge. The steps at the end, this is the whole sequence of it. These steps took hours and hours for me to get through, since there were 26 steps. I had to keep going individually in each one of them and put in the value, and then getting the measurements for the length, width, and height of all of them correctly accurate to the mold of the area I had for it. I had set up for it. So this is the sound as the player collides with the box. So it starts up the sound as the steps slowly rise up, each one right after the other. The button process is the same thing as the pillar bridge. This one, since there were 26 steps, I had to add in 26 different nodes for this. So this is yeah. So over time, the value for this increases to its to the new value. So in half a second, the value would change to 100%. After half a second, this one would be a quarter of a second, and then so on and so forth as it goes down. Yeah, not a whole lot to this, just a lot of process and a lot of coding. It was a nightmare. This one wasn't too bad. Here's the sequence for when the player overlaps the collision box in the center, right up in there, right there. If you can see it. Let's see, there it is. Okay. So here's the first sequence. So as it's playing out the sequence, the intensity of the light actually goes from 0 to 500,000. So the player would be able to see the light shining, and they would get the sense of the sequence that it's going into. So I used 4 different colors, but 3 of the same colors of the sequence. The reason because I had some issues in the beginning of trying to get the sequence going, but the first color, where there would be duplicates of them, the first color would not shine at all. It would just skip that step, and then once it got to the final duplicate of that one color, then that final duplicate would be the only one of the duplications that would shine. So I thought of what if I made other duplicates of it, like actual duplicates, not just copies of the same one, just actual 1, 2, and 3. Then I found out that it worked. It worked. I talked with one of my friends, and he told me that it's because as they're being used as, like, the same light is being used, so then as it's getting the information from it, it's actually pulling out a 0 instead of 500,000, because the other version of it is at 0. So instead of pulling out 500,000, it's pulling out 0 for some odd reason. But once it got to the second copy of it, then it's pulling out 500,000 because it already passed the first copy. So it doesn't need that anymore, so it tosses that away. So it's going with the information given to it by the second copy. So if that makes any sense, like, I mean, he explained it to me better, so I can't really explain it the same way as he did. Either way, I had to make like several duplications of this to get that to work. So once they pass the sequence, then that information is given from the player into destructible plats, and if they pass, then it goes on to the sequence of raising up the platforms, 4 platforms for each round, and visibility is turned on for all of them, because the default visibility for it is it would be false, so that the player won't see them at all when they look down into the great abyss at the bottom. So yeah, there's 3 rounds, 4 sequences the first one, 6 in the second, and 10 in the third one, and they get faster and faster with each round. Doesn't look like it at first, but played a few times, yeah, I'm sure you can tell there's a difference. After that, after all the sequences are done, the collision box is going to be destroyed, so that there shouldn't be any noises, but unfortunately there are. I just don't know where it is. I don't know why it's doing that still. And then for third person player, so this is another piece of the code for the light sequence, because I made an enumeration, but turns out I didn't really need that at all. All I needed to do was create a singular node, puzzle nodes. Just a singular node, which is those different colored balls that were in the hot spring in the middle of the map. And I created a myNode type. I believe that's integer, I think? Is it? No, it's a byte. It's a byte, never mind. And I made that public so that I could just drag out 4 of them, uh, change the my node type value from red, blue, green, whatever, and then change the color of them for each one to match the light sequence. So there's that. Uh, Also, I made a trail effect that I found on YouTube because one of the things that we needed was a trail effect, apparently. So that would be all this code. I can't really explain it all in detail, but this is it. Uh, Later on, I'll add in the name of the YouTuber that I found this on. I essentially like basically copied his code to get this working. I mean, it's all very complex, it's very complicated. Uh, yeah, that's the biggest amount of code I've ever coded for this. Like just in this one small box. Besides this is all repetitive. I don't count that. This is the code I copied from first person shooter example world, and then copied and pasted it into here, so we would have a like shooting projectile function for the slime, our slime character, so that they could shoot out slime, they could shoot out magma, shoot out ice balls, and whatever we felt like would be appropriate for this game. We never really got to use this, so there was really no need for us to use this, so there was really no need for me to put it in here. This is a switching function so that whenever the player grabbed an ability, like the slime ability, the ice ability, or a magma ability, they would be able to switch abilities by hitting the 1, 2, or 3 key to swap out between each one if they had it. If they don't, then they can't switch over to it, and they would just still be equipped with their current ability that they had. Anything else? I think I covered everything I did, covered everything that I created, all the blueprints. So yeah, that's basically it. So that's all my work for this project. That's all my work that I did for me and my team's game. It was a lot of work, a lot of hard work, a lot of head scratching, a lot of just it was a lot, a lot than I imagined. So I'll see you later. I'll probably post another video, a final video, later, probably tomorrow or the next day. So I'll see you guys then. In the meantime, I'll get the YouTuber's name to add credit to him, and then also add in any of the other programs I use, like the I think it was Texture Forge. So I'll add that into the next video. So I'll see you guys next time.